Hello, everybody. It's the Sean Show, episode 20. Sean Show is the greatest show. So Monday Night Football has just happened. The Miami Dolphins versus the Los Angeles Rams. I watched a little bit of the game. I didn't. I didn't watch the whole game. I'll admit that. It was an okay game. It wasn't amazing. It could have had a tighter finish, I want to say. But Los Angeles just didn't do enough in the third quarter to put them in a good position to make it competitive. Let's check out the agenda for today. All right, so we've got show plug and show changes. Let's do that now. So this is the Sean Show every Monday, Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday. If you are in the US, that is every Sunday, Monday, Thursday and Friday. Today is the second show of the week where we go over Monday Night Football and we possibly talk about something. I was trying to consider a couple of different segments that I could do, at least conversation pieces. There are quite a lot of storylines out there. There's a whole lot to talk about. There's some things that I've observed myself, but I just need to collect my ideas, put them in my brain in a organized fashion, and get myself set up to bring you guys a little bit more information, or at least something more interesting to watch. But yeah, it's Tuesday today. Let's move on. Let's get rid of that shit. Alright, so as you can see, we're going to be talking about Monday Night Football Week 10 review, Miami Dolphins versus the Los Angeles Rams. Like I said, I got to watch a little bit of this game. It wasn't the most interesting game, to be honest. Miami started off hot. It was nice to see, but then the game just slowed down to a halt. And then we're going to have a look at the mid-season standings. I am a week late. Mid-season was technically at the end of last week, but we're going to have a look at it anyway. I'm going to get an extra tab up while we're here. And now we're ready to roll. Let's talk about our sponsor for today, guys. The Sean Show is a NFL football show while football season is in. NFL football is a finite resource. We only get it for less than half of the year. So while it is on, the show will be focused on that. Let's get to our sponsor. Guys, this week I am glad to say that, psych, we don't have a sponsor still. But that's cool. Today the show is actually powered by just H2O. I didn't prepare anything exciting to drink or to nibble on, so it's just good old H2O. Shout out to Planet Earth for creating H2O. Shout out to the city for cleaning the H2O and letting it come out of my tap faucet so I can drink it. Oh yeah. Get that water, son. Get that water, son. Alright, let's move on. As we pull up the agenda again, I didn't need to pull it down. Let's go over Monday Night Football really very quickly. This is the new time slot as well. I didn't mention that in the show changes. This is the new time slot. It's likely going to be maybe a bit earlier. I did push it out a little bit, but we want to kind of finish watching Monday Night Football and get ourselves ready to do the show, or at least finish watching the late games and start the show. Don't want it to get too late in the US. I don't even know what time it is in the US right now. I'm going to look that up. Time in US. What do we got? It's actually 1:20 a.m. So I really need to start this show maybe 2.5 hours before now. Right after the football. Yeah, I think we do. And then even then it is a bit late for the working class of America. Anyway, let's get down to business. So Miami Dolphins versus the Los Angeles Rams. Miami Dolphins comes away with a win, moving to 3-6. They are 2-3. away. Los Angeles Rams losing this one out, going 4-5. This does not hurt their position. This does not help their position in their division, who is slightly competitive. Miami Dolphins have a long way to go before they're looking like they could have a playoff berth. I know this is halfway through the season and a lot can happen, but it is hard to dig yourself out of a hole. We'll get to look at some matchups. I'll probably forget that we're going to look at Miami Dolphin matchups. Well, whatever. After the stats, we'll do that, actually. Gives a bit more content rather than just looking at the regular dumb shit. So this one was played in LA. LA is a dome, so the weather did not affect the game at all. I'm actually considering if the game is in a dome, if the weather's really hot, does it affect it? Because you've got some sunbeam coming down, making it extra hot, putting a lot of pressure on the air conditioning. I wonder. Actually wonder. Anyway, let's go to the box score here. No, box score, thanks. Box score. Actually, we'll start with the play-by-play this week. So, Miami starts the game, a 5-play touchdown, and then it's just a shitload of punts. 3 and outs in a row, and then a 6-play punt. Stafford throws an interception. Miami gets points for it, a field goal, another punt. Tua throws an interception, fumble on the first play, 3 plays, and then another fumble. It's just turnover city. Turnover city this week 10 has been insane. I didn't look up the numbers, but I might look them up, prepared for the Friday show. Anyway, LA comes away with a field goal out of that. There's a punt, and then they get another field goal before the half. Now, the second half of this game, Miami could have really done a bit more. So they had a missed field goal here that would have put them up 10-9. Then Miami goes down, scores a touchdown fairly quickly. 3 minutes of playtime. They would have been down by 8. Okay, they get another field goal. Would have been down by 5. Miami gets a field goal again, 8. Another field goal, 5 again. Boom, another one, 8. Now this 12-play drive really needed to turn into a touchdown. Let's see how far they went. They got to the Miami 4. They couldn't put it away in the red zone. They put this one away in the red zone. And the score becomes, what? 17-23? Very winnable. You get a stop. No, sorry. It would have been 17-20. You get a stop there, or you give up a field goal, you drive down and you score a touchdown. And you win the game. So, like I said, they just didn't do enough in the third quarter to put themselves in a good position. Because if they at least scored some points in the third quarter, this puts the pressure on Miami a bit more. Make them throw the ball a bit more. Make them a slightly more honest, I guess you could say. And then you go down and win the game. But I mean, they have all the weapons to do it. They're starting to get healthy again. But yeah, unfortunately, Los Angeles Rams do lose that game. Miami Dolphins getting out of a slump. I do believe they were in a losing streak, a pretty hefty one. So it's good to see that. Good to see Tua back out on the field and playing ball, being productive. He had some really good plays from what I saw. I haven't had a chance to watch Tua play. I know he's been in for 2 seasons. I also am not a fan of getting up at 3 in the morning to watch games, so there's that as well. And then the chances that I have had to watch the Dolphins, I've probably been working or something like that. So it was really good to see Tua play post kind of return from the concussion earlier this season, and all of the discussion around that. He's a baller, man. He is a baller. I knew he was a baller from his stats, but just watching a player operate is very different to just watching the stats. You have to kind of see how they deal with duress. You see how they are when they're composed. You get to see if they're making adjustments to the line. You know, you get to see how they see the field. It's really, really fucking a brilliant, amazing. All right. Let's stop. Let's stop with that. What I would like to do is probably put the background music up a bit more. There we go. Maybe like that. Okay. Let's check out these stats. So we got Tua Tagovailoa, 25th at 28, 200 yards, 1 interception, 1 touchdown. Lost 36 yards from 3 sacks, had an okay QB rating. Without the interception, this QB rating fucking skyrockets. Matthew Stafford had to throw the ball 46 times. Obviously, they were behind the whole game. They did not take the lead once. Miami being allowed to have a much more balanced offense, whereas these guys obviously had to throw the ball more. 293 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception, 77.5 QB rating, not great. Lost 36 yards, same amount of yardage lost in sacks. Did get sacked 1 more time, which hurts drives. Kyron Williams picking up 62 yards off 15 carries. They did not score a touchdown. I didn't realize. How were they in the red zone? Red zone, 0 for 3. Yikes. They're gonna be drilling that in they're drilling that in practice. They are drilling that in practice. Holy shit. On Miami's side, Devon Achane had some pretty good rushes. 12 carries, only 37 yards. Had some no rushes as well. Malik Washington getting 1 carry for 18 yards. Tyreek Hill toting the rock twice for 11 yards. Tua going 1 and -1. Matthew Stafford also trying to rush the ball, going for 0 yards. On the receiving side of the ball, we do have Jalen Waddle picking up 3 of his 6 targets, 57 yards. Tyreek Hill got 3 of his 4 grabs, only 16 yards, very short plays. Odell Beckham also getting involved, 2 catches for 17 yards, catching everything that goes his way. And Raheem Mostert also not really having any rushes. No rushes, but he was involved in the pass game, 34 yards for him. Tyreek Hill got the touchdown on that side. Puka Nacua catching 9 of his 14 targets for 98 yards. Cooper Kupp. These guys both hit their over. They both hit their over. That's nice to see. I think Odell maybe hit his over by a couple of yards as well. Cooper Kupp catching 7 of his 7 balls for 80 yards and no touchdowns for the Los Angeles offense, and I do believe they had to miss field goal if I do recall. Let's look over at the turnovers. Both QBs threw interception. These guys lost their fumble. These guys lost 1 of their 3 fumbles. Holy shit. So turnover battle turned out to be even in a fairly even game. Let's have a look here. No real great returns. 100% kicking for Jason Sanders. Joshua Carty did miss 1 field goal, as I mentioned before. And he did not get a chance to kick an extra point. Alright, let's go to the team stats. Let's have a look at this game in a little bit more depth. Ugh, hate to see it. Get more first downs and you lose the game. This could just mean that these guys were more efficient. Looking at the total yards. No, these guys just had to drive down the field more. Pretty even time of possession as well, so I guess Miami was getting better field position. Alright, they won the first down battle on both fronts. Only 3 rushing first downs for these guys, won through penalties. Third down efficiency, about 50%, just under 50% for Miami Dolphins. These guys having a terrible 25% effort on their third downs. Nobody giving away the ball on fourth down. We love to see that. Total plays 68 versus the 53. We did see that Miami Dolphins had a much more balanced offense. Los Angeles Rams trailing behind. The majority of this were gonna be passes, and that's just how the game is played. Even total drives over here. Pretty even yards per play as well. When I just said that these guys are probably more efficient, I could have been talking shit, but generally that's what that indicates. If a team wins, they have less first downs. Usually it means that they're kind of having better or more yardage chunk plays, rather than driving up the field very slowly and picking up down after down after down. Only 171 passing yards over here, but he did have 207 passing yards. I don't know what the fuck's going on with this weird stat. Again, we see this. This could be... I don't really want to say that, but maybe this is where the PI yardage is reflected. I don't think it is. I really don't think it is. That would be stupid. That'd be stupid. Stupid. Okay, the rest of these stats are not very interesting. This one is pretty glaring. Like I said, it was a draw on the turnover battles. The time of possession was fairly even as well. Oh, okay. Much more disciplined on this side of the ball. 64 yards, meaning that they had to try and gain those 64 yards in penalties. And then obviously going 0 for 3 in the red zone is not a good look. Let's have a look at the chances that these two teams have to move into the playoffs. So first up, we'll whip up the Miami Dolphins. We'll whip up the Rams. And let's have a look at the standings for their relative divisions. First, we'll check out the AFC with the Miami Dolphins. So with the win, they do move to 3-6. This division is being held down very steadily by the Buffalo Bills with another... These guys have already had their bye, so with another 8 games to go, there is a chance that they take the division. Is a chance. We'll have to look at the Buffalo Bills schedule. Kansas City, San Francisco, the Rams, Detroit, New England, New York, New England. So, if you are a Miami fan, you are very much hoping that the Bills come away with a maximum of 1 win there. That would put the Bills with 3 losses at 5 losses. Something would have to go very wrong with the Bills for the Miami Dolphins to be able to take this one, since they are already at 6 losses over here. I did say yesterday on the show that there's a very good chance that if you have 5 losses, you are probably not going to make the playoffs. And let's have a look at the AFC conference in that regard. So I'm wrong, at least on this side. You can very much get away with it. There is, like, you'll be able to make the playoffs with 5 losses, possibly 6. On this side, you know, 5 losses looks a bit rough. If you have 5 losses, you might not make it. You really might not. But safe to say, if you have 6, there's a very good chance that you are not making the playoffs. So these guys would have to make a real push to do something about it. Anyway, Rams have 5 losses, so again, they'd have to win out. Very likely they'd have to win out for the rest of the season to make the playoffs. Let's have a look at the Miami Dolphins schedule, and we'll quickly load up this schedule right here. So the Dolphins have the Las Vegas Rams. That is fairly winnable. They can beat New England. This one will be a tough game. Green Bay has been shooting themselves in the foot recently with a lot of penalties on their own side. Just mental error, dumb shit. That's basically it. That's basically what's been holding them back from winning their games. They've lost a few big games because of it, and I stress that. So this is a winnable game. Hopefully these guys are clean out of the bye, but that's bias. That's bias on my part, so let's get rid of that. You can beat New York. You can possibly beat Houston. Houston are going to start rolling very soon. Once they get Nico Collins back, that offense becomes a lot more dynamic. You can possibly, if you are starting to get full steam by this point, 5 weeks through, you can beat San Francisco, you can beat Cleveland, you can beat New York. So winning out, the Miami Dolphins sitting at 3-6, there's a good chance that they could win out. There is a very good chance. They've got 3 very competitive games. They do have a few divisionals, which can go either way, honestly. Particularly this late New York Jets game. Again, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid here, but I feel like it's a very, very good possibility that the Miami Dolphins can win out. Now let's go over to the Los Angeles Rams. So in the division, they are currently sitting third. It is very tight. So you can get away. They can get away with, more losses, but actually clinching their division. Have they versed Arizona yet? They have, and they lost. They do get to play them again, and they do get to play the Niners again. They won. They beat the Niners. That's actually huge. That's going to be fairly big. If they can win this game, that's pretty massive for the Los Angeles Rams. That is pretty massive. If they would need to win this game, and they would need to win this game for sure. Those are very, very important games for them to win. And they'll also have to play Seattle again. So if they can win these 3 in the last 4 weeks of their season, and they perform fairly well through here, I believe they could probably clinch division and take it. So let's have a look at who they've got coming up. So they can beat New England. Philadelphia's going to be a tough one. Maybe chalk up the L, but you are at home. So it could be a close game. I think Philly has had fairly close games almost all season. This week was different because, Dallas is a shit show. So this was, let's have a look, 1 score difference. They rocked the Bengals. They rocked the Jets. The Giants. This was 1 score difference. Rock them. 1 score difference. 1 score difference. 1 score difference. So yes, this game is probably pretty winnable for the Rams. Safe. I don't know. I'd probably bet on Philadelphia winning this game, but you can do it. So you can get a win here. Possible win there. You can beat the New Orleans Saints with their interim head coach. Usually a team wins their first game with the interim head coach. There is that bump, but the rest of the season can start to look pretty shoddy unless that interim head coach has been a head coach before. It's just a tough situation because whatever the coach was echoing was not working. So to switch it up mid-season and to continue to have sustained production, it's not easy. It's not an easy thing to do. So like I said, Rams can win this game. This one's going to be a very tough game. Buffalo is rolling right now. This one's going to be a tough one. Like I said, you've got to win these divisionals if you want to win the division, especially with Arizona right now and San Francisco starting. Like, Arizona's rolling, San Francisco's going to get their steam back up now that Christian McCaffrey back, and the Seattle Seahawks. I don't know what's going on with DK, but if DK gets back, this whole division is probably fucking wide open. DK out. Expects him to practice Wednesday. So he could be back in like 2 weeks, which means that you're going to run into them. You could probably win this game against New York. And then you have to win this. So Los Angeles Rams don't have such, like, I mean, I'm just saying that the strength of schedule on Miami's side right now looks a lot weaker. Than the Los Angeles Rams. Simply because of these divisional games. Simply because of that. So is it possible? Can the Rams go to the playoffs this season? Might be difficult to make it as a wild card. So they're gonna have to take it within their division. They're gonna have to take this division. Can the Miami Dolphins make it into the playoffs this season? A wild card spot is possible. With this amount of losses in this current AFC, they have a possibility to take a wild card spot. They can also, if they win out, having a look at that schedule, if they do win out, they can win all of these games. They might be able to take the AFC East themselves. Well, maybe not. But let's say they do win out. I'm pretty sure they go to playoffs with 6 losses. Nice. That was a pretty fun section. I like that. Gotta do more of that. Anyway, let's have a look at, first up, who's playing this week. Week 11. Washington, Philadelphia, Thursday night football is going to be nice. That's going to be nice. I'm going to watch this game. We're going to talk about this game. And then we have a divisional. So, NFC divisional, NFC divisional. Any more divisionals down here? I do believe this is divisional. Yes. That's for the division. Oof. This is divisional. That is not a divisional. No, it's not. Only 3 or 4 divisionals this week. What games will be good to watch? This one's going to be a goddamn banger. This one, the way Chicago has been playing right now, this is probably going to be a very one-sided game, despite it being a divisional game. Chicago needs to figure it out. This game, if Trevor Lawrence is back, it could be a pretty good game. Detroit's probably just going to steamroll these guys. Over here, Minnesota versus Tennessee. This could be a tight game. Tennessee has not been taking a whole lot of points, and Minnesota did not score much last week. I can't remember who they played against. It was, the prediction was that it was raining. I don't know if it was actually raining at the game, but it was a low-scoring affair. This game, I don't know if you want to watch that one. People probably won't say that's going to be a very good game. Anytime Max Crosby takes the field, it's going to be good to watch, but I don't know. I don't know about that one. I don't know. This game, probably not great. This one, probably not great either. Like, anytime Jameis Winston takes the field, it's going to be fucking fun. So yeah, you might want to watch Cleveland if he's starting. Yeah. Could be a close one. This could be a close one. I wouldn't watch this game. Colts versus New York. I wouldn't watch it. Baltimore versus Pittsburgh is going to be an absolute riot. I would watch this game 100 times over. This is going to be a great game to watch. Please watch this game. Atlanta versus Denver. I don't think it's going to be great. I don't think it'll be a great game. It'll be competitive, but I don't think it'll be amazing to watch. Probably a pretty low scoring affair. Seattle versus San Francisco. This one will, I'm going to say, is going to be an okay game to watch as well. It is divisional. It is divisional. This one's going to be a very good game to watch. I think Kansas City plays to the level of their opponents this season. I don't know what's going on with them. They need to get something figured out. They are undefeated, but it hasn't been super convincing. I mean, they won last week. They won this week, sorry, with a blocked field goal. So there's that. And I think the Denver kicker maybe missed twice, actually, like one block and one miss. So yeah. I'm not going to say much more about that. Cincinnati versus Los Angeles. This one could be a pretty good game. Los Angeles has been holding people out of the touchdown zone, and they're starting to find their feet with Jim Harbaugh as the coach. So hopefully this is a good game. The Cincinnati's going to put up points regardless. And then you know Houston, Dallas. Sorry for saying. Let's stop with the ums. I think Houston's going to win this one. Oh, we get to see the current favorites and shit. Okay. Don't care about that though. Alright, let's go and have a look at the tables. This is on to the next section. I'll bring up the agenda. Yep, it's the mid-season standings. We've been doing it for a little bit. So, week 10 of 18. How is everybody looking? Playoffs? The playoffs? Nobody's eliminated yet. Okay, so in the AFC East, the Buffalo Bills are absolutely dominating, but we did get to look at the Dolphins' schedule, and if they win out, they could probably do something about making it into the playoffs through the wild card if the Buffalo Bills don't really lose too many games. But yeah, look at that. 6 losses. They're currently standing in 10th. They need to get to 7. They need to get to 7. I do believe it is still a 7-team playoff. Don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that. But I think it is. I'm going to assume it is. So, there we go. Buffalo Bills likely going to take this one all the way to the house. Make it into the playoffs themselves. This division is more interesting. So the Bengals are starting to get their footing again once T. Higgins comes back. That offense is going to be a lot more, have a lot more firepower to it. Let's quickly have a look at 6 losses. Let's quickly have a look at their schedule. Whoa, what happened? I clicked something. Let's quickly have a look at their schedule. Winnable. Got to win in the division. That's winnable. This is winnable. This is winnable. This will be tough, but you have to win, and then you have to win in the division. How have they gone for against the rest of the division this season? They've lost to Baltimore. That doesn't matter if you are trying to get into a. Kind of does matter if you're trying to get into a wild card spot. But if these two are pretty high up in the wild card and they just don't lose, then scenario states that it kind of doesn't matter. But yeah, they do have to win out. This Pittsburgh Steelers, this Denver, and this Pittsburgh game, those are the 3 issues that they have. This one's going to be a tough game for them, and they really do need to win that one. But it's definitely not as tough as these other 2 games, these other 2 matchups. So if they do hold out, they'd have to win out. With, like, let's just say with 6 losses, you're gonna have to win out. You're gonna have to win out. They could make it. They could make it. Cleveland's out of the race. Even if they win out, I think it's just not. I just don't think it's enough. The scenario would have to be crazy. Pittsburgh Steelers are absolutely rolling. Baltimore Ravens are also crushing it. Who's possibly going to win this division, though? Let's check out these schedules. Ravens do have a bye week in hand. What are their injuries like? Let's check out the depth chart. This could be good for them. This later, it's not this week, is it? It's not this week. This later bye could really work for them. Let's have a look at their schedule. Okay. Tough game, they have to win it. They can win it. Tough game, they can win it. They can win it. Tough game, they can win it. They can win it. They can win it. So let's say worst case scenario, they lose twice there. Worst case scenario, they lose all the games, but worst case of the best case scenario, they lose 2 or 3 of those games. And then with the Pittsburgh Steelers, bye week 14. With the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're going to have to go through because they have just come off the bye week, so they're going to have to win that game. Can win it. Well, okay. I just want to do my segment. Thank you. My thumb's going crazy on all these mouse buttons. So they got to win that game. They can win this game. They can win this game. They can win this game. This one's tough, but they can win it. They have to win this game. They've got to win this game, and they can win this game. Who's winning? Worst of the best case scenario, these guys lose to Baltimore once and Philly and Kansas City, so they lose 3 games. I kind of feel like Baltimore takes this one. This game is going to be absolute fire. This game is going to be so good. I might have to get up early to watch that one and not watch the. Oh no, they're all starting at that time. Yeah, I might just have to get up early and watch a couple of these games. Let's go. So I think Baltimore Ravens probably take this division. I think Baltimore takes it. Next up, let's have a look at the AFC South. This one's a bit of a tighter race. I kind of feel like the Texans are going to run away with it. The Colts have not shown any real signs of life in the last couple of weeks. After the loss, one of the players did say that they just didn't feel like people were working hard enough in the building, so something is not good there. The Titans are not going to end up winning. The Jacksonville Jags have been just until they get Trevor Lawrence back, they're just going to struggle street. But 8 losses, their playoff hopes are pretty much dead. Houston Texans should take this one fairly easily. Fairly easily. The Colts probably have quite a few tough games coming up as well. They're probably going to lose. They can win that one, but they'll probably lose. They'll probably lose this one. They might win that game. This one's a tough call. And I don't, Colts not going to the playoffs. This division is going to the Texans. Let's move on. So now we have the AFC West. Kansas City Chiefs, Los Angeles Chargers, Denver Broncos, and the Raiders. Who can make the playoffs? These 3 teams can make the playoffs. These top 3 teams. Kansas City Chiefs, Los Angeles Chargers, and the Denver Broncos. If we do look at the conference, and if the season did end today, we have Chiefs going through, Bills going through, Steelers going through, Ravens, freaking Texans going through. And then for the wild card position, we've got the Baltimore Ravens, the Chargers, and the Denver Broncos. So if the season did end today, 3 of these teams would be going to the playoffs, and I feel like it probably stays that way. I am interested in looking at all 3 of their schedules. 9, 9, 10. Denver has a bye coming up at some point. Is it this week? It is not this week. Kansas City Chiefs, let's have a look at their roster. What they got going on. Tough game. They'll win this game. They'll win this game. They should win this game. They'll win this game. They should win this game. Tough game. Tough game. Yeah, they're looking pretty strong. Los Angeles Chargers, how are they going with their schedule? This is a tough game. This is a very tough game. They should win this game. Very tough game. Tough game, tough game. Should win this, should win this. They should at least finish the season strong there. Denver Broncos, how are they going? They should win this game. They should win. They should win. So these guys might really kind of separate themselves from the Chargers, since they've got a fairly easier set of games in the coming weeks, and then it starts to get a bit more difficult. So they should be able to pick up 4 wins going into this and staying with their 5 losses, and then it starts to get a bit tough. This is that divisional that they've got to win. They can win this game, and you know they can win this game. They've shown that they can win this game, and as this team gets more experience, they're gonna get better. Yeah, this one, it's very likely that all of these 3 teams go. It's very, very likely. Like, even just looking at it, like just straight up 7 teams. You've got these guys winning the division. You got both of these guys going through. Let's say the Bengals fail to get through. You got these guys winning the division. These guys winning division, and then you've got your 2 playoff. You've got your remaining 2 wildcard slots. Like, that's probably. I don't see much difference here. A lot of these teams have dug very big holes for themselves, and I don't see them coming back. And these guys have fairly favorable schedules. Let's go to the NFC side of things. So in the National Football Conference, the NFC East, we have the Philadelphia Eagles. We have the Commanders. Who won this division last season? That's what I want to know. The Dallas Cowboys won it. Okay, so this division is particularly notorious for not having any repeat division winners. It just doesn't happen for some reason. Dallas isn't doing it this year. Before Dallas, it was probably the Eagles, and so on and so on and so on. So this one could go either way, to the Eagles or the Commanders. Both teams are strong. I kind of feel like the Eagles are a more complete team. Washington Commanders have just been blasting through and scoring points. Just been scoring. The point differential is even because these guys have not been taking points. So again, this team is much more playoff ready, but this team is very exciting. Commanders can go. Who's going to win the division though? Okay, so the Eagles have like I said, this is going to be a great game to watch. They haven't played yet this season. They've got to match up again later on in the season. This one is massive. These 2 games are massive to figure out who is going to the playoffs, or at least who's going to win the division, because there's a very good chance that these guys are tied up at the end of the season. So we've got Washington. Eagles can win this game. This is going to be a tough game, but they can win. They should win this game. Tough game, but they can win. This one's going to be a tough game. And then they should crush these last 2 games of the season fairly easily. So they get to finish off the season pretty easy. Let's say worst case scenario, they lose 3 games. Worst of a best case scenario. And then we go over to Washington. Like I said, this is a tough game. They can win this game. They can win this game. They can win this game. Against the Saints. No. Just no. Thank you. Alright, so they can win this, they can win this, they get a bye, they can win this. Tough, they can win, they can win. Kind of worst case scenario, worst of the best case scenario is they lose 2. I wouldn't be surprised if Washington take this division, honestly, just from those matchups, like Baltimore, Pittsburgh, the Rams, and then they got to play Washington twice. Yeah, I think the Commanders could like just flip this one, maybe take it by 1 win or so. Exciting little race to watch here, I think. And then we've got the NFC North. This was the most competitive division in football until the Chicago Bears decided to absolutely shit the bed. And the Packers have lost 2 games, 2 big divisional games here, by shooting themselves in the foot. So we've got the Detroit Lions, we've got the Minnesota Vikings, and we've got the Packers. If we do look at the conference standings, all 3 of those teams go to the playoffs if it were to end today. So we have Detroit Lions, Philly Eagles, Atlanta Falcons, and Arizona Cardinals making it through. And then we have Minnesota Vikings and Green Bay Packers above 2 division leaders right now. So it's looking like, it is very much looking like, if these guys can mitigate losses and not lose, it is looking like they will go to the playoffs. This is a tight race. This is a very tight race. You have some strong teams who are competing for playoff spots. Like I said, Rams can get their shit together and start rolling. But yeah, like, it's looking good. It is looking good. What am I doing over here? We can check out their rosters and try to figure out who's going to win this division, but I do feel like it is the Detroit Lions. I don't want to spend too much time on this division. Who have they got going? They can win. They can win. They can win. This one's going to be a tough game, but they can win. Tough game, but they can win. They can win. Tough game, but they can win. Tough game, but they can win. Yeah. Worst case scenario of the best case scenario is they lose 1 game there. And I would say probably to San Fran. Minnesota Vikings. Let's see what they've got going on. They can win this. They can win this. That's going to be a tough game, but they can win. They can win this. They can win this. Tough game, but they could win. Tough game, but they can win. Tough game, but they can win. Probably won't, though. Then we go over to the Green Bay Packers, and we've got, I mean, best of the worst case scenario there, they lose 1 game. That's pretty good. And then Green Bay Packers, here we go. They can win. They should win that game. This is a tough game, but they can win. Tough game, but they can win. I'm pretty sure they can win this game. Tough game, might not win it. Tough game, they can win. They should win this game. Tough game, but they can win. And they should win this game. So Green Bay Packers look like they have the harder road right now to make it through this division. Did I look at the Lions? Did I look at the Lions, or did I click them off? Oh yeah, no. Yeah, so this division, where are we? This one could go to the Vikings. Detroit Lions are likely to take it. Green Bay Packers do have the hardest schedule, it looks like right now. But yeah, very likely that these 3 teams will go to the playoffs. Very, very likely. NFC South. This is basically just a race between the Buccaneers and the New Orleans Saints. I would not expect, and the Atlanta Falcons. I would not expect the Saints to do a whole lot for the rest of the season with the interim head coach. And the Carolina Panthers, I know they did win against the New York Giants, but that's the New York Giants. Okay. I'm sorry, Carolina. Alright, let's have a look at these 2 schedules really quick. See who is going to take the division. Now, Tampa is behind by 2, so they're going to have a +2 over here on the look. So, Atlanta, they can win this game, but they'll probably lose. They can win this game, and they should. This game, they'll probably lose. They should win this game. They should win this game. Unfortunately, they'll probably lose that game, and they should win this game. So what are we looking at? We got 1, 2, let's say 3 losses there. So Tampa can only lose 1 of the games to make it even. What do they have? They can win this game. 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 They can win. They've got a very easy schedule. objectively, they have an extremely easy schedule. Tampa could take this division. I'd put my money on Tampa to actually take that one. Look at that schedule. That's like they're just getting gifted postseason. Just gifted. And I do know that 6 losses is going to be tough to make it in as the wild card, but how have they gone in the matchups? They lost. So it looks like Atlanta has shut them out. So Tampa really has to win all of these games, and Atlanta has to lose maybe 1 or 2 of these games. 3. They're going to have to lose 3 games. If they're ahead by 2 right now, Tampa wins out. They have to, because just from the head-to-head, Tampa has to win out. It's going to be tough for them. Goodwin and Evans should come back soon, hopefully. Let's have a look at that, actually. Mike Evans, status out. What's going on with Evans? Status questionable. Do we have a news section? Tough to be out. Is there any information on this? I mean, I'm sure it's probably well known, but Evans injured in Monday Night Football loss. Godwin suffering, what coach says, dislocated left ankle, right hamstring. Alright, so this one can take a while to come back from. If you keep aggravating that thing, it's tough. And then you feel like you're good, and then you go to run, you lift your leg, and then boom, it's aggravated. It's not a nice thing to try to get through. Not the most difficult thing, but it just kind of sucks. And then Chris Godwin, injured reserve. Dislocated ankle is what the coach said. He could come back. Really depends on, if anything, any of the soft tissue was damaged during that dislocation. I didn't see how bad it was. Tampa could take it. I'm just saying that. Tampa could definitely take this division. It's likely Atlanta Falcons, but I'd put my money on Tampa Bay Bucks. I know, budgies. I know. Show's almost over. Next we have the NFC West, Arizona Cardinals, San Francisco 49ers. I'm probably going to have to do a dive into this one a bit later, but let's quickly have a look at the schedules. I'm not going to dive into it later. Let's just get through it. Bring up these schedules. Alright. This is fairly good. So, divisional they can win. This one's tough, but they can win. Divisional they can win. They should win. They should win. Divisional, but they can win. Divisional, but they can win. A lot of divisional games coming. A lot of meaningful football for this team ahead of them. A hell of a lot of it. San Francisco Niners here, currently sitting in a wild card spot with 4 losses. What do they have? They've got Seattle. They can win that game. It's going to be tough divisional. Green Bay, this is going to be a tough one, but they can win. Buffalo's going to be a tough one, but they can win. Remember, these are tough games, but Christian McCaffrey is back, so that offense should start to open up a bit more. Then we got Chicago. They should win that game. Los Angeles is going to be tough, but they can win it. Miami, they should win that game. It's going to be tough though. This will be a very rough challenge for them. Detroit might win that game, and then you also have this divisional again that they do need to win. How much meaningful football? Well, right now for them in second place, it is all meaningful, but they've got one divisional rivalry, another divisional. So they've got a few games which are divisionals, not as many as the Cardinals. Let's go over to the Rams, who are starting to get their offense back together after the return of Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. They can win this game. This one's tough, but they can win. They should win this game. Tough game, but they can win if things go their way. Again, a divisional tough game. They should win this game. Tough game. And we'll look at Seattle Seahawks. Divisional. Should win. Divisional. Tough game. Should win. These guys have an extremely hard road ahead. I don't see the Seahawks making the playoffs. Yeah, unfortunately, their road is too hard right now. In my mind. DK Metcalf might be back next week. He might be a couple of weeks, but I think it's too little too late. Maybe more as well for the Rams, but a lot of meaningful football in this division. This is probably the closest race to watch. I'd keep an eye on this one. I think the Cardinals take it though. They're just playing amazing football. Adam Schefter on Pat McAfee's show said that this is the first time in 98 years that Arizona has kept their opponents out of the end zone 3 games in a row. So that's fucking crazy. And Kyler Murray is absolutely balling this season. Go and have a look at his stats. It's it's really hot. It's fucking hot. Anyway, guys, that was the Sean Show, episode 20. I hope you like the new time slot. It's gonna roll a little earlier than this as well. I did leave this one a bit late, like I mentioned. But yeah, we got to talk about some cool shit this week. Yeah, keep an eye out. In a couple of days, we got Washington, Philadelphia. That's gonna be an absolutely bopping game, and I'm gonna watch that one. So we'll talk about that one after the game. I'll catch you guys soon, people. I appreciate you. Stay safe, do your thing, and see you soon. Peace out.